What are we discussing today?
We're going to talk about another common and popular topic that affects many folks called obesity.
Why are we talking about obesity today? Are you implying I'm fat?
Of course not. 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 Of course not! Of course not!
Then why are we talking about obesity today?
Hold on, Hadi. If we follow your logic, does that mean you had diabetes when we talked about diabetes in the past?
In the past.
Because if this is really the rationale, let's talk about smoking next time. Because I think you are smoking hot.
That was smooth.
So, we're talking about obesity today because this is another condition that is heavily influenced by our very dear food and beverage industry, or diet in a nutshell.
Why are we concentrating on diet-related topics recently?
Because with some soul searching and Mushy support and feedback from some of our friends, I think I'm going to tap into doing some food and beverage content, but in a health conscientious way.
Pushy loves food, and love is probably an understatement.
More details to come, but today we will focus on obesity.
All right, let's go.
Howdy folks, welcome to our channel. I am Pushy.
I'm Mushy.
And we're the Pushy Mushy, yeah!
Serious.
So, B. serious is actually a gram-positive bacillus that has the potential to cause food poisoning.
Seriously.
We will do our best to combine facts with humor, but if we do make mistakes, please let us know and we will do our best to correct. Please like or dislike, hopefully not dislike, subscribe, comment, share, and press that bell icon.
Great. So, what is obesity?
Obesity is a chronic condition that has many adverse effects on our health and well-being in the eyes or view of many folks. Obesity is basically being fat.
So, is fat bad?
Actually, not really. Or I should say, actually it depends. To clarify, fat is a tissue that performs various vital functions, such as temperature regulation, energy regulation, and protection, support, and or maintenance of other organ system functions, such as our reproductive system.
So, is fat good?
Well, just like everything in life, there needs to be a balance. And I'm not going to lie, finding that balance is always difficult. For most folks, there are all kinds of fats: essential body fat, storage body fat, visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, brown fat, white fat, and beige fat. Have I confused you all yet?
Confusion is not good. Get to the point.
Anyway, when fat accumulation on our body becomes excessive, or simply put, when that good but hard to find balance is tipped over to the overabundance side, we become overweight or obese.
The prevalence of obesity has been overall increasing over the past decade in the United States and actually many parts of the world.
Obesity does not only affect adults, but also young adults, adolescents, teenagers, and the kiddos.
So, how do we diagnose or measure obesity?
Well, the most common way of this type of assessment is through BMI, or body mass index, not BMW, the fancy car from Germany.
Don't treat our audience like kids.
I'm sorry. You are right. So, let's talk about how we measure BMI. You take your weight in kilogram, divide that by your height in meter, and then once again, divide by your height in meter. For example, a 70 kilogram and a 1.7 meter person would do the following to get his or her BMI.
70 divided by 1.7 divided by 1.7, which gives this person a BMI around... what? What the heck? 70 divided by 1.7 divided by 1.7, which gives this person a BMI around 24.
What?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Oh, she's quick. For all of our American friends, if you're not familiar with the SI system, such as meters, kilograms, and that you only know weight by pound and height by feet and inches, There are multiple online calculators that can help you derive your BMI using pound, feet, and inches.
Alright, so what do we do with this BMI value?
Great question. Let's briefly talk about the commonly discussed BMI classification adopted by both the NIH and WHO.
Number 1, underweight.
This corresponds to a BMI of less than 18.5.
Number 2, normal weight.
This corresponds to a BMI between 18.5 to 24.9.
Number 3, overweight.
This corresponds to a BMI between 25 to 29.9.
Number 4, obesity.
This corresponds to a BMI greater than or equal to 30.
Number 5, number 6, number 7.
We're going to skip these obesity classifications because...
Did you just interrupt me?
Did I? Oh, wow, I just did. Here, give me the noodle. I know what to do. Rule 1, 2, 3, and to the infinity. Wife is always right. For all of you gentlemen out there, do you know why all of your wife's relatives become your in-laws when you get married? Let me tell you. Because your wife is the law, and all of her relatives are within the law. Okay, so there was a reason why I cut Mushy off. It was simply what I wanted to do and wouldn't get that chance in real life. I'm sorry, that was not the right reason. And if it were the right reason, that would be another husband's reason. Not me. The truth is, and some of our audiences know this already, I generally emphasize not committing a whole lot of things to memory because the reality is, in this day and age, we already have lots of stuff to memorize. So, if we can spare a few brain cells, we should. There are also class 1, class 2, and class 3 obesity based on further BMI stratification. But what folks, you, and your family need to know is not all these definitions. In my opinion, if you know how to calculate your BMI, your next step should really be to know what to do with it. You can always look up what classification your BMI falls under, but the more important thing is to know what to do with it.
You forgot to mention one thing about this BMI classification system.
Oh yes. Mushy, what would I do without you? Folks, the BMI classification I just mentioned is suitable for our white, Hispanic, and black friends, but not exactly for our Asian friends. And how do you know if you are Asian? If you look somewhat like me, you're probably Asian.
That's not necessarily true.
True. Mushy is right. As always. If you want to know if you're Asian or not, go ask your parents or somehow figure it out on your own, because we can't dedicate this whole video to your ancestry.
Stop horsing around.
For Asians, overweight is a BMI between 23 to 24.9, and obesity is a BMI of greater than or equal to 25.
That's not fair. Why do we have a stricter cutoff?
Because the world is racist.
Focus.
Because of Asian exceptionalism.
Come on.
Alright, I'm sorry. But if you are interested in Asian exceptionalism, feel free to check out our previous videos on this topic. The real reason is actually scientific. The first cutoffs we mentioned underestimated the risk associated with obesity in the Asian population. Research has suggested that the level of risk in terms of percent body fat is reached at a lower BMI in Asian population compared with white population.
Interesting.
Right? For all of you research scientists out there, no matter what field you're in, mad respect from Pushy and Mushy.
Does obesity apply to kids?
Yup. In fact, overweight and obesity have really become a big problem for our dear pediatric population. For our pediatric population, the calculation for BMI is the same as adults, but similar to how blood pressures were compared or assessed for children under the age of 13, previously covered in our video. Based on a kiddo's age and sex, A BMI greater than or equal to the 85th percentile and less than the 95th percentile is considered overweight. A BMI greater than or equal to the 95th percentile is considered obesity.
So, as previously mentioned by you, what do we do with this BMI information?
I'm sorry to end right here, but I have a few important meetings to attend to for the next few hours.
Yes.
So, we will resume next week, highlighting what you and I and all of us can do on our own to prevent, improve, and fight against obesity. We're the Pushy Mushy. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.